Hi Farm Friends, welcome to Haven Acres. It is April 12th today. We have snow and rain in the forecast, and we also have pasture maintenance, baby chicks hatching, and gardening in the forecast. Well, not really gardening, but seed starting. I want to garden so bad. Who's with me? So as I'm getting ready to go over to the greenhouse, I'm bringing a few things with me. A greens tub that I've washed out. I have several more over in the greenhouse. I'm going to be using these for planting some seeds in a bulk fashion. And then I had a couple of containers kicking around over here in the house, and they need to go with me too. We also need to figure out what seeds I am bringing. Okay, this is the bag that I want. Before I go out and start seeds, I had a change of plans. I'm going to take these crimson clover seeds and I'm going to go plant them, or not really plant them. I'm just going to scatter seeds in the boxes where our fruit trees are. The weeds really overtake those boxes, and I have some thyme and some oregano planted in there, but I think having this crimson clover in there will be a great alternative to weeds, that is. The other day I went through our new seeds and packaged together the things that I wanted to start sowing sooner than later. Some are for direct sowing and some are for sowing in the greenhouse. So I'm going to wait and put the kale out directly. That's some cilantro, some basil, some sage, more sage, parsley, that's going to get direct sown. Spinach is direct sown. Cabbage, onions, celery, and tomatoes and peppers. So I think for today I'm going to do the onions. Got 2 packages, and celery. I want to at least get those started because they take a long time. I cannot find the, what are they called? Oh gosh, chive seeds. I cannot find the chive seeds that my grandson and I separated. I have no idea what I did with them. I saved the seeds from last year, the flowers rather, and then we recently separated the seeds. I can't find them. I need to start them soon. Can't decide if it wants to rain or snow out. Currently, I would say it's doing both. But I'm going to go to the greenhouse and get some seeds started. Jesse is over in the next pasture cutting and burning. More pasture maintenance. It's a good day for burning brush. Okay, I'm very much embarrassed to show you what the inside of my greenhouse looks like because, well, in the fall, I picked up the trays, did a little sweeping, and then just left it. So there's a lot more sweeping that I could be doing. And, well, it's not going to happen today. Look at this floor. And my bucket with last year's marigolds, and look, little cherry tomatoes that just, died on the vine. They're still soft. That's funny. Yeah, so anyhow, this is the greenhouse right now. Kind of a mess, but I'll get it whipped into shape and get things growing. Look at all of these plant skeletons. Goodness. And my green stock that I got for Christmas, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get this filled and get it together. I've got to get some proper soil for it, and then I'll get that planted. It's none too warm in here today. It's actually, looking at the thermometer, it's only 38 degrees in here right now because the sun's not out. So this is a non-heated greenhouse, which means basically when the sun is out, it gets very warm in here. However, as the sun goes down and nighttime comes, it takes on the nighttime temperatures. So it's not appropriate to grow things in the winter, and starting now is kind of a gamble because I will really have to pay attention to the weather, and if it's going to get down towards freezing at night, which it does this time of year, I'm going to have to come out and maybe put an extra layer of protection on any seedlings that actually sprout. So today I am just going to plant onions. What did I bring out? Onions, and I don't remember. We'll see in a minute. But I have a bunch of these plastic containers that I've saved. They are great for starting seeds in, like onions, where you want to plant a lot in one container and then separate them as they mature. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm just going to put these over here. Things that I brought from the house. And get busy. Oh yeah. Celery, onions, cilantro. That's what I'm starting today. Good grief. Get me a little more room here. This block of Pro Mix is heavy. I don't know how much it weighs, but I'm able to lift a 50-pound bag of grain easily enough, and I would say this weighs more than that. It is 3.8 feet compressed. So I usually, for the amount of seedlings that I start, I usually go through 2 blocks of this. And they're, I think, about $35 each where we live. So it's a pretty significant investment. However, you need soil, and then every time you plant seedlings outside, you're taking that soil and bringing it outside. So you have to get new soil. And then for the green stock planters, I am going to use potting mix. And when we got this Pro Mix yesterday, they didn't have the type of potting mix that I want. I am looking for a specific one, Coast of Maine. And I know where to get it. It was just in a completely opposite direction. So Coast of Maine potting mix is what I want for this. Pro Mix is what I'm going to use to start my plants in the containers, such as this, or in the little individual cells. All right, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to open this up, get some soil in the containers, and get some seeds started. I forgot my really nice knife. It's in the truck. So a plastic knife will work just fine because this bag is bulging at the seams. Wow. Nothing fancy here, just this is an old spinach tray. I've got lettuce, spinach container. I have lettuce containers. I am not putting holes in the bottom of these. I'm just going to watch the moisture level. They're going to act as a little greenhouse. It's going to be wonderful. Wow, nice and moist soil. I need a little shovel. Okay, there we go. I will say back in, I think it was 21 or 22, must have been 22. The Pro Mix that I got, I was not super happy with it. There were a lot of sticks and things like that in it. And I think that because after 2020, there was this craze of, homesteaders. Everyone was a homesteader. Everyone was at home. So a lot of people were planting gardens that had never planted before. I think the companies, the soil companies, were having a hard time keeping up with the demand, and they were actually sending out soil that wasn't quite broken down enough. This looks much better, so I'm happy with it. See, just little sticks, that's perfect. I'm going to take a break from the seed starting for a minute because I forgot. Over the winter, I take down the water spouts from this greenhouse, but today, because it's raining and I'm planting seeds, I want to put the water spouts back on the ends of the greenhouse and put buckets underneath to capture that water because I'll be using it. So how easy is that, right? That was quick and easy, wasn't it? Let's see, onions. A quarter inch deep for the onions. And I'm going to sow these pretty heavily because we love a lot of onions, and I still have onions in the pantry that we grew last year, and that's the whole point. These are long day because we have a short growing season, which I know that doesn't make sense, but if you live in a short growing season, you need long day onions. It's backwards, in my opinion. However, I digress. I'm planting my onions today. I have a bunch left in the pantry, which is the whole point. Every year I want to grow more and more until I have enough to sell to local folks and have enough for us for storage almost until the next year. I don't think that it's possible to have them reach the next harvest season, but if we can grow our own onions for the majority of the year, that is a beautiful thing. Again, I'm sowing them very heavily because after they sprout and they get about this tall, I'll separate them, and at that point I'll either plant them directly into the garden or I'll separate them and put them in different pots. It just all depends on what the weather is and how well I'm prepared in the garden, which right now I'm not. That was one envelope. I've got two. These tubs do have drainage holes in them already just because they were from berries. So I am going to still use them. I will just have to put a tray underneath to capture any water that goes through. If you see me switching out to using my hands, Just know that there's something inside of us that feels good when you touch the soil. Did you know that? It's true. If you are using a shovel like this, and maybe even because it's a plastic shovel, but if you use a shovel or a hand tool, it does not give you the same satisfaction or the same feeling of wellness or joy that using your hands and touching the soil does. Try it, do an experiment. It's actually really cool. We're supposed to be touching the earth. All right, I think 4 might do it. Let's see. Where'd they go? Guys, what did I do with my seeds? The extra ones? They fell through the crack in the table. Good Lord. Welcome to my life. It says that in each package there's a minimum of 300 seeds. So that should have been 600 onion seeds that I just planted. We'll see. And we're supposed to go 1/4 of an inch under the soil. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little more on the top, pat it down. Okay, that was silly. I snapped this. I still have to water. All right. I always try to water seedlings with a sprayer. However, I will tell you, I do not have great success keeping a spray bottle that works. So if you have a sprayer that has worked for more than 6 months, drop it in the comments and let me know, because for me, these things don't last hardly at all. This one currently is working. So I'm just going to spray the top of the soil to get it damp so that the seeds get damp. And this way we're not pouring water on, which would displace the seeds. So this is just how I do it. Takes a little bit more time maybe, but that's okay. At least I know the seeds are going to, for the most part, stay where I put them. The one and only drawback of starting seeds now is I am now adding chores to my day. So in addition to feeding baby chicks, feeding baby ducks, feeding and watering the laying hens, feeding and watering the big ducks, you know, the dogs, the cats, all the domestic duties that we all need to do. Now I also have to come over and check on the seedlings and make sure that they're not getting too dry or too cold or too hot, see if they're growing, etc. So as exciting as this is to start seeds, I just know I'm also adding work to my day. I guess it's a good work, right? Okay, celery seeds only need to go in the soil 1/8 of an inch. So I am going to broadcast the celery seeds a little more thinly and then just put barely a little extra on top and then water them in. Gosh, these seeds are so tiny. I'm not sowing the celery seeds nearly as thickly as the onions, number one, because I don't need that many celery plants, and number two, because I don't want them as crowded as the onions. Just patting them down a little bit is going to get them to a shallow depth. If you plant your seeds too deep, they are either going to take an extra long time to sprout or they might not ever sprout. So you really want to make sure that you are not planting them too deep. Follow the directions as best you can, but don't make yourself nutty about it. I also want to mark these before I forget. Tops are a little wet. That one's really wet. I might have to wait on that one. Yep, I'll have to wait on a couple of those till they dry, but I've got 1, 2 that are marked really clearly, so that'll work. Well, here you have it, the cilantro, celery, and onions. And per the usual, my helpers are with me. Wow, seriously, it's been like 15 minutes at the most, and that bucket is full already. Guess I better go get another bucket. Nice. There. I also wanted to show you, and I'm not sure if I can pick them up on camera, but do you see the chives coming up? Looks like green grass. Those are chive plants. They're coming up nicely. Those are some of the first things to come up in Maine. How funny is this? One side of the greenhouse, the bucket got full, and then this side is only about a third full. And it was what, 2 seconds? 2 seconds difference from when I put them up. The other things that are coming up are the Egyptian walking onions. See the green? And of course they are in the chive family, so that makes sense. I started cleaning out the gardens in front of the house the other day, and there's definitely some life, which is good. I see bloodroot coming up, daylilies, daffodils, chives. The rose bushes are looking good. We have some poppies coming up right there. And there's a few, where are they? A few tulips that I see popping up. Lots of daffodils. We have, oh gosh, what is that called? Help me out here. Has gold flowers on it. I'll think of it. And look at some pretty little crocuses. before you know it, this will be beautiful. Lots of daffodils forming over here. Some little crocuses coming up. I believe that is turtle head. No, it's not. That's too early for turtle head. Can't remember what that is. The lilacs are going to be in bloom before we know it too. They're my favorite. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm outside. It's still kind of rainy and sleety, but all of these trees, all of these fruit trees in the boxes, in each box there is either oregano or thyme and a bunch of weeds. And my grandson and I did our best to do some weeding the other day. But I think if I plant these crimson clover in here, they will overtake the weeds. So I'm just going to put crimson clover seeds in all of these boxes with our fruit trees. Crimson clover is a nitrogen fixer, so it will be great in with these trees. Even though it's a super cruddy day, look how pretty the mountain looks behind the house. And the chickens don't care that it's cruddy out. Okay, I wasn't planning on making a gardening video today, but here I am making a gardening video. I've been working in the greenhouse for most of the day or outside looking at things. I just wanted to show you these beets that I am sowing. The sell-by date is 12/31/21. None of these may germinate, or some of them may germinate. But I just want to make a note for myself that the beet seeds I am sowing are very old. So if in a few weeks I don't see any germination, I'll remember why. And if they germinate, I just want to encourage you, because I always plant old seeds if I have them. If you don't plant them, they for sure are not going to grow. If you plant them, they may. Here we are, 2 flats, and I put 2 to 3 to 4 seeds in each little section, and there's 6 sections in each. So we'll see. I have onions, 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 and more onions, celery. I have late flat Dutch cabbage. I have cabbage glory of Incusia, something like that. I have 2 trays of Detroit beets and a tray of broccoli. I feel pretty accomplished for today. Time to put a little cover on these and be done with it. Because these trays don't have tops on them, I just use plastic. This is simply a strip of greenhouse plastic. It's going to give it a little bit of protection, and it's going to act as a greenhouse while inside the greenhouse. Well, farm friends, this was definitely not the day I would have considered for a gardening video, but I thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I hope you had fun, and isn't it just great to get your hands in the soil and get back out there and garden? We people in Maine, boy, we just long for this time of year. We'll see you on the next one.